Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be special. You can create amazingly beautiful, complete websites that can help you land clients, get a new job or something else. We're going to work with Lovable to create an amazing website design which you can use and launch in seconds. So let's get started. First things first, I want to show you what design inspirations we are working off of. We are going to try to create an agency-based website, but whatever you learn in this video can be applied to literally any website out there. If you have a horrible website, go ahead and redesign it right now. So this is one crazy example of such a beautiful design created by someone. All these are online inspirations which I found on Behance or Dribble. Go ahead and search for them. These look super cool and pretty good designs. Now, why am I showing you these designs? Number one, the reason for that is very simply Lovable works great with a lot of instructions. Whenever you're using Lovable, you have to think about literally telling an engineer what needs to happen. You can't ask it to like, do you think this works? No, just tell it what needs to be done. Now, before we get started with building, let me quickly show you what does a website actually have, right? Now, very simply, whenever most of us think of a website, we just think, oh yeah, it should have an amazing design. Well, technically not that, right? Because when the designers are creating websites, they're thinking about a lot of things. For example, the typography, the colors, the landing page structure, the complete structure of the website, of how it is going to look, how is it going to respond on a mobile, on other screen sizes, and also they make sure that they tell what kind of a design rationale they are working with. So for example, if a designer is coming up with very simply, like this is a website design that I like, if someone recommends you this design, they actually will also tell you why does this design work compared to any other thing, or why did I choose some specific elements. Now that's something we're going to work with, right? Now neither you are a designer. Now again, neither you are a designer. So what did I do? I went to ChatGPT and created an amazingly beautiful prompt. This is a massive prompt and I gave it some design inspiration. But very simply, what does this prompt help us do is create a complete outline of the website with the typography, the colors, and everything else. Literally everything that we want to create, it already exists. So you have the color palettes, what should we choose, the color distribution, landing page structure, quite literally everything that a designer would give you. Again, you can just use that using ChatGPT. And again, the prompt will be available in the description if you want to use it. The prompting includes all these 6 things to be created. Now what I'm going to do is this whole thing that I have the multi-website structure, I have the high converting best practices, the responsive and accessibility considerations, and then complete design rationale and all of those things. Then I'm just going to copy this and come back to Lovable. Here I'm going to say very simple stuff. This is going to be the easiest prompt to start with. Lovable getting started is super simple. Create a beautiful landing page. Actually, because I want multiple pages, create a beautiful website with the focus being on the landing page with the following considerations in mind. And this, I just want to remove this because I'm copying from ChatGPT. The goal is to create a website for an AI agency which helps in building automations, AI agents, and AI chatbots. Once this is done, we can go ahead and start creating. This is going to take first build of Lovable. It takes a minute or so, right? Now you just need to let it be. One thing to remember is the devil is in the detail. When you're using Lovable, most of the people that are using it just want to go ahead and create a website and are expecting a beautiful website. That's sadly not how it works, right? Another thing that I've done is I already had a lot of PDF documentation, and based on that, I asked it to start creating the content that can be put in the website, right? Lovable can create the website for you, but the content that needs to go there, the headline, the subheadline, and all of those things are again created by ChatGPT, right? Again, very simple, just put in the prompt with this particular thing. Based on this, also create an outline. And I said there is no need to take everything from the portfolio because there might be something that you like and some things that have no value at all. I have not given Lovable this up till now because I want to see what it actually comes up with. Right? You see there is a proper design that has been inspired with the hero features, what are the elements, what are the colors, everything that ChatGPT created, it's going to technically try to follow this. So let me quickly move myself below so we can start seeing the first most important page, right? Now again, this looks pretty decent, right? Again, very simply, this looks decent, but is it anywhere close to what we have here or something like what we have here? Not at all. Right? So that's where our work starts now. Now, the first thing is you have to make a decision on everything that you're doing right now. Now, you have to tell, okay, what do you want to look like, right? This looks decent, but I don't like any of the design that it has. It's okay. So let's try to do more, right? Now, first things first, I want the hero section to be much more vibrant. I want something similar to this. Let's just do this. I can take a screenshot of this whole thing and put this in Lovable. Here is how the hero section should look. Make the font and elements bolder, have a clear and showcase cards below in a glass, in transparent glass style format. I'm not really vibing with the gradient. Here is how the hero section should look. I've given a reference image, so this is how my hero section should look. Based on that, it will start creating a much better hero section. Another thing is I don't like the cards present here. This is so like 2017, 16. I've been seeing these cards in such a long time. So we want to switch to something like Behance, and you can see a couple of examples and like showcase that. So again, this is not great. You can see this probably ruined the way we were using it. The colors went wrong, and that's where I have to see what it changed. We try to add glass style cards everywhere, but the colors are not really matching the off. So we can just ask it to change the colors of the website, and then it will start again doing that. There is another option that I want to show you in Lovable, chat only mode, that we can use to create a better design. If you did not like this, you can simply click on this button here and revert back to those particular changes. The best thing that I like about Lovable is that everything that is created, you actually own the code, right? So you can really focus on that and start creating something. You can edit accordingly in case even Lovable does not work. We went back to ChatGPT and took out this particular section based on the portfolio we submitted, all the information about what I do, and brought it out here, right? Very simply, I gave it all those options and told it to make the background light, not dark, and change the cards to a more beautiful design. So you remember there were some cards mentioned here, and that is not visible after this change. So what I'm going to do is very simply, you can go ahead and say the cards are not visible, because the point I wanted these cards to be flowing around. Now another thing that I want to do is make it a bit animation based. This particular thing should not be just one word. It should keep flipping and be a bit smaller compared to the heading. I do like the colors, like, it has gone with, and like, thanks to ChatGPT that we got like, very pretty good colors from a specific perspective. So you have green, you have blue, and it makes up a decent gradient and other formats. Now another thing that you have to keep making a decision on, like very simply, like, again, how do you want, like, client results? So for example, this is a beautiful style of how the client results look, right? But I might want something else, maybe client testimonials here. Let's see, right? Again, we are going to choose as it appears. Perfect. Now this is much better, right? Here is the prompt. Make the cards look beautiful, and then you should have a complete flip over. So I should be able to flip over the cards and see stuff, because this looks much better. The only problem now, again, obviously the cards are much bigger, right? We can just reduce them. Whenever you want to select a particular element and decrease the size of it, just select this, click on cards, make sure their width is matching the content that they have, and also update colors to be alternating. So now you can just click on the select button and select the cards we want to change, and make sure the width is matching the content. Another thing that you see is these white buttons should not be there. It should be either purple or match, so that I can actually see something here. But I don't want to learn more buttons. I just wanted something which can be flipped over and seen. Now this is much better. There are different colors. I was expecting just 2 colors to be there, but that's something that I can ask to be there. Okay, I messed up. Fix the height of the cards. They are too big, right? Because very simply, it's just something like, again, I messaged put width there. It should have been height, and that's like my mistake. Don't keep blaming AI if you are not putting in the right prompts. That's great. Now I want to animate this particular part. Once this is complete, I'll just select this until Lovable is implementing all those changes. I can say animate this with 3 different messages to keep popping, to keep coming instead of just AI solutions, agents. And if you are looking for this website will be linked down below. You can book us for helping you with your AI solutions, AI agents, or I'm just going to write AI chatbots, right? And let's see how the animation comes around. I'm not very specific on how this animation should work, but I would like to give it like that. The width is decent. I think this works. The only thing is I want to get rid of this particular color, and also the colors on the back are different. You have to keep one thing, even as fun as it is to work with Lovable, one thing I've realized is it takes roughly 30 to 60 minutes to get the project to a decent place. This animation is just changing the words. I don't like that. I want something different. I want something like, make it a rotatable. The word AI should be fixed, and the other words should keep rotating in a beautiful tumble format. Now again, this is something where you are literally letting Lovable decide on how it's going to implement that. You can probably give it more instructions, like use a specific component or something like that. But let's see how it comes out to be, because if I can describe what I want, it should be able to do this. Now, this is something that I don't want because I like so much text on the hero page. I'm going to get rid of that. This traditional background that it has come up with, decent, fine. I don't have an issue with it, rather than just having a 3D tumbling effect. You can also get rid of this checks on the box. I'm not even sure if it is coming or not. There's supposed to be a 3D tumbling effect. Let's see what it has tried to implement. You can see the code. That's one of the great things, but I can neither see the effect nor the word. It's something pretty complex to select. So yeah, and I will go ahead and fix that. So another thing is it's still not working, and the solution is create a plan to rectify this. If you can see, I selected the chat mode because right now when you are getting multiple errors, instead of wasting the number of messages that you have, if you're on the base plan, you technically require to spend like $20 to get this, right? And then you can spend around 100 messages. You can then, instead of just doing AI edits, choose the chat message so that it can actually create a plan, right? And then switch this to default based on the plan it has created. These are the things that I'll check on, and I can say yes, go ahead, implement. These are some tricks you have to use to understand, like, when you're building something, you need to understand that there are aspects which even AI will right now get fixated on, or will get stuck on, because very simply it will not understand how do I move forward from here. So you need to give it some breathing space so that it can understand how to counter this. Let's see. Again, it's going to take a couple of seconds. I actually want to move this also. Then we can think about our services page, right? How does our services part needs to look? So again, this is not bad, right? Again, from a scratch perspective, but I want something like, again, a bit more perfect. So you can see it has started working, but obviously the whole thing is not visible. I can see partial word, not the whole. And for that, I can also take a screenshot and upload this. It is then able to see what seems to be the issue, given that we were able to do this by literally just prompting AI to get this done. Perfect. So this has come together in some format. Alignment is something that I need to fix, but I want to move ahead so that this video does not become a 2-hour video. Okay, now the last thing that I want to do is make sure that all the divs, the color combination should be based on flipping the card. The same color should be used. Very simple, it should be the same color. I don't know why, these colors are a bit different. And then also technically see, again, there is this glass ball effect is there, but we need to do something more to showcase how they are getting it. But yeah, this is fine. Again, we can just keep asking it and tweaking it, but this is pretty good to get started with. Awesome. So this obviously links are not working, and we'll come to that at the end of this whole thing. Use a consistent colors, and you can see use a consistent color scheme with primary purple and font state to be purple, right? And we can just tell that. Now on the services page, I want to do something cool, right? I want to see how we can technically create, not again, this card thing just looks horrible, right? How about we create a animation style something, so you can just click on different services and it becomes like a windmill kind of a thing. So you have everything becomes an icon, and then you see something open from the right hand side. Okay, let me try to find a reference to that, or find a way to describe that to the way I've done it to you horribly. Probably try to do it in the same format. In the services section, create the following. And here is the design explanation. Create a transparent panel which has 3 icons that we have right now listed. So again, I just completed and then upon clicking should only be able to load the specific card on the right in a beautiful transition animation, which should be linked to the circle, right? Now again, this is great, but I would have loved if I could just design this in Figma and actually show it on how it should look. But we are going to let Lovable go and run a bit wild and see. But what you can do is actually search for design inspirations here, right? So you can say website, AI web design or something, and just see what kind of designs people have made. Based on that theme, if you like something, here we can take this particular thing we can show. This is pretty decent. This is mostly an image, nothing much there, but we can also create or add stuff from here. For the client, I'm going to do something like this. This looks much better than anything else. So I'm just going to take this as an inspiration and see what Lovable comes out. Oh my god, it actually did this, right? It actually did this beautifully, right? With Lovable. I love this. I really love this. I was not expecting it to do, right? I'm going to think create one more button maybe, and then get rid of this services. Let's see what I want to do. Okay, add one more icon and increase the size of the card. Let's see, I want to add one more icon because it then completes. It looks much better. Then I'm probably going to ask it to increase the size, so then it goes from edge to edge, and then let's see how it comes out. I was not expecting this. I did a pretty good job in describing. If you can describe it, it can come out pretty well. And then we just have two more sections left. So I'm going to have what a client say at the end, but here we're going to have probably a book call option with the calendar integration, and then do that. Tried to do that, but did not come out that way. These lines are not coming out that great. Also created AI insights and everything else. Honestly, I'll just say attaching a screenshot. You have to technically attach your own screenshot because it can see the image and the code. Get rid of our services heading and put the headline as "We build your dreams. We build solutions." Get rid of sub-headline also. And then once all of this is done, we should have a much better option like this. I think we can get rid of the lines if it does not work out. I'm not super keen on the lines, but if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, it's completely fine. And then again, one thing this is bugging me now is I want to change the color of this to actually the font color to be white. And then probably add a nav bar that links to other sections. I'm not a huge fan of nav bars in landing pages, but we build solutions. This is amazing. The lines are okay. Remove the subheadline, added the dashed line for the connecting lines. Not looking that great, right? Again, we can probably spend some bit more time on it, but let's just I'm just going to ask you to remove the lines right now, increase the icon sizes, and align them from the edge of the section. So the first icon and the last icon will be near the edge. I'm just going to attach a screenshot so that you can see this and figure out how to do this, right? It looks great. I can still spend some time on getting the design. This is because I pressed enter before this got uploaded. Let me just hold it for it to be uploaded. Lovely will give me an option, and I think I made the mistake there. Here, very simply, when I wrote the first icon will be near the edge, I should have probably written in the same format. But one thing, I don't hate this. I don't but I'll do this again. They don't need to be in a row format. Keep the same formatting. Semicircle style. Maybe another color alternating with white, and add more data to the cards and increase the height. This has come out really well. I love the icons. I'm pretty sure it's using a library, but it's been able to get there. But the idea is, just imagine this particular animation. If I'm pretty sure if I go ahead with this kind of a website and try to find a developer, a decent developer would charge you a decent amount of money. Again, I don't like to quote prices because prices differ by geographies, people, and everything else. But this would be a decent amount. After this, let's come to the client section. This is looking pretty decent. I think it will get fixed in this one. I got some decent inspiration here. So again, 110% going to take this as this as an example, right? And then I want a couple of see how people have also done this is something super cool, right? They have done a really beautiful page, and I can take some inspiration from here also, right? If they have something on the client side page or something like that. This is decent, right? Again, I do like this design, probably just the style of it and everything else, maybe like this. Let's see. And then one thing that you have to do is bring references. That's it, because that helps love from a design perspective what you can do. And I'm going to take this, but not for this particular thing, but for something else. And let me try to get there. Okay, this came out super cool, perfect, amazingly done, right? And then again, I can technically add some gradients or something else. The only thing that needs to be in the middle, right? So just to select this whole, is this not a single span? Yeah, make it in the middle. So right, this looks cool. I might want to add some text here. Now it looks a bit empty, or just increase the size of We Build Solutions, right? And then it's coming together when you start looking at a layer, because we're super focused on one section. We can do that. And also I can probably, and you can see it's super cool animation, right? It's it pops out, there is a transition animation there, and a couple of other things. Just this small beauty of using AI that you can ask it to do what you want. And now coming to the client section after this, I've got this done. Again, I think not what I was expecting. Nope, did not want to center. Don't center it. Just put it from top to bottom. It was perfect before. just need it to be pushed, right? Will just mess your brain up, right? Because again, center, it's not supposed to center, it's supposed to be on the right, and then don't center it and ask it to do that. So let's see, it should technically do that. Again, if it does not, I'll just revert back to the previous code and work on the client's part now. Okay, so one thing you can see is 110%. It's going to like probably take it much more options and much more problems to do down because it's working on that. So I'm just going to come back here and restore this. Right, I'm just going to restore the previous version. This is great. I'm just going to take one more shot at it, right? Move this div a bit down vertically. I kind of started liking how we are coming up with this. I just feel there might be a bit more colors on the service thing. But again, we are going to probably move to the next thing and try it here. Okay, let me start writing the prompt for. Perfect. So it just finally started coming together. Looks pretty decent. Again, I think we will probably have to push it down a bit more or actually see how this is functioning, but it has come down by adding some margin, and you can see the difference here. Another thing that I'm now doing with the client is to make it more animation based, right? Ensure that, you know, again, we make the messages smaller. I don't want these massive messages. Let me show it to you in full screen so that you can actually see how it has come together with like a blank page that we started with, right? Amazing. This is amazing. Obviously, this alignment is something we need to fix. A couple of things here, and then I'll extend this to the whole thing. I'm also on a white screen, so it might look a bit different. We might want to increase this size and see what a normal screen size would look like. This looks pretty amazing, right? Just based on how it has come together. It took us 20-25 minutes to do that, right? Let's see how the client section comes together. For one thing, it has come out amazingly well. The images are not there because we don't have any images right now. But one thing we can quickly do is like, you know, just ask it to make them alternating colors with white and purple. The purple ones should have. Right now, this is super simple. Just in one shot to tell it how I want it. It's flowing on the other sides and it looks amazing compared to basic stuff. That's why you have to find inspiration. The other thing I'm loving here is that the whole distinction between, like, you know, the two section has gone, right? And I'm going to probably like do this thing, same thing here also, so that this becomes one simple landing page rather than like, you know, we having multiple sections here. So again, and then we are probably quickly done with this thing and can change this because I like that. And the same font we're using here, again, very specifically, like, you know, multiple colors. So you have two different colors coming up and you have different things. That's great. It works out perfectly well for every, and we can obviously ask it to add 10, 12 more cards, decrease the size of the cards. And that's something that I do want to do, but I also don't want to like nitpick because, again, not the best design and probably works with us. Another thing is, let's technically focus on two more sections that are left. One element that I want to add is very simply a process overview. Create a section with beautiful icon and alternating colors to clients. Right, this is one part which I do want to add. How does the process look like? Because a lot of people are interested, like, you know, how are you going to work on, or what are you going to work on, or something like that. But again, we can work on that. So let's see how does that come up. This is based on the prompt that we're using, and GPT created this for us. We can tailor all of these things and create it. Again, using a starting point is super important so that you actually have the whole page, at least on paper. Then you can keep designing with lovable. It came out super well. It used amazing, beautiful icons, great gradients, right? And maybe only thing that I'm thinking of, like, do I want to make it horizontal or not? I do like this, given that it shows the timeline of the solution, but I'm just going to leave it and try to ask my friends how it looks and then change it accordingly. But one thing is started figuring out, we have the same logical, same typography going around everywhere except this, and we're going to change that in a second. I'm really nitpicking on it. One more thing that I technically want to do is maybe add more content here, right? And so that's something that I can do. But let's just, like, you know, try to embed a calendar now so that people can actually book the calendar. What I've done is added a simple code. I use cal.com for scheduling my calendar. Beautiful product. Go ahead and try it. And just asked it to add another section to schedule a calendar. It should technically be doing it in the same format as before. And then after that, I want to add a couple of social media icons so people can, like, you know, go and watch YouTube or something like that and discuss more in depth about it. Let us see how we come with another. Again, this is something that I asked it to do. Card format, I want these cards to be on the left, and this should get rendered in a second or so. In case it's not, we'll check why it's not. Let us see. Not getting rendered. Let me see if I can see the code. Actually, we can just, like, you know, see what. On cal.com, there is another option of a code. Instead of just an HTML code, I can also give it a React based code because it is more natively popular to be worked with React rather than just HTML, right? Again, these cards look great, right? But I wanted to add that, like, let's get a call. You actually see something rather than just a calendar, right? And we can also add, I think it's going to need the cal.com React. We can just come here and copy this. It has into some errors. It should not have, but you can just click on try to fix that. We'll just go ahead and use the calendar React format. Our website is mostly complete. I just want to add a couple of tweaks here, adding a social media icon so that people can go and watch YouTube or stuff like that. Very simple nitpicks. Probably will take us another 5 minutes and we'll be done with the whole website. If you watched here and you are continuing to watch, please do subscribe. And if you need any help with AI, there is a link in the description which you can book a time with me to help you with your AI solutions. Actually using the React component is much better because it looks super beautiful, right? It matches with the color themes and everything else. You can select the calendar, you can select the style. I'm going to increase the size of this so that it shows up everything on the left and right hand side. But again, this is really beautiful, just the way it has come out, right? I was not expecting it to be this good because again, I've seen the integrations and they don't look damn good, but cal.com has outdone themselves with this. Kudos to the team. Awesome. So last things, let's quickly just fix that. And then again, I think there was some error it's going to fix. Here, link all of these buttons together. So it's going to take us a couple of minutes to do that. Let's just quickly do that and see. Let's just see, is this working? It is visible. Personalize attention on all of these, right? This is great. I would like to, but I'm not sure, right? On the side, I probably not like the icon instead of this. But again, here, I technically just want to say, this is great. I'm going to change this to more of a call to action and link is scheduled a demo to call to action and actually give two options, one to book calendar, and for that you can move them. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted this to be a simple call to action. Let's get on a call. Our process tailored to your needs. Hundreds of people already love us. The only thing we need to change is probably I technically can just get rid of this. Like, I'm not vibing with this. Even like maybe putting something like this similar here might work. So let's see how that looks, and then probably change this to white, and we are off to the races. Again, I just added same color as scheduler demo, and also make sure the whole section same as the page and design. I'm not vibing with this background style, right? And that's what we're going to try to technically remove this background here also. I've just started. We got the CTA thing done. Again, looks much better, ready to get started. Choose the way you'd like to connect with us and schedule a demo. For schedule a demo, I'll ask it to book a call. This looks pretty good. And let's get to the call. I've asked it to redesign this particular section also. And yes, we will solution. This actually looks better. I think it's just because it's matching across our whole website, it looks much better. I think we can reduce some padding on this page or see how it looks once we remove this. Let's get rid of the lines in the background and make the AI and the rotating text also match purple design that we're using. The only best thing that I love with AI is I don't have to worry about the spelling mistakes that I keep making. So again, I can just ignore them and let it do its job. Okay, so I started fixing this again. Very simply added the cards to the colors. There is some mess up here with the spacing. I can just manually go ahead and edit this. You can also keep asking it, but you can manually edit it. I just asked it to change the final alternating colors. The last thing that we're going to do here is add the very small, beautiful nav bar, which actually has the name and stuff. Again, this is great, right? Again, this came out perfectly well. I wanted it to be more simpler rather than again, just those cards we already had. This looks much cooler also, I believe that. One thing I'm going to ask, add a mini nav bar in the middle with 3 things. The name better with AI on the left and book call now on the right as a button, which should link to the below section of calendar, and also add an option to watch to YouTube. That's it. And then that's pretty much it. That should cover our whole thing. And again, adding a mini nav bar and everything else. Again, this has become a beautiful solution, right? Again, very simply, we start from nothing. The first page was decent and not so bad. It was just a single prompt. After that, you see, you just have to work section by section. You can literally create any design. This is something that I genuinely like, and this is going to be my website for the whole year. If you wanted to know what I was working with, this is what I was working with. When I started, I was like, I did not have like Lovable or anything else. I'm like, again, not the best website design. This is okay-ish, right? Again, there's just beautiful icons and stuff, but there's no animation. This is the process we have. This is an FAQ, but again, not something that like super cool. And obviously, I obviously love these kind of animations and everything else, multiple websites, but I love what we have built now much more, because it's just like, it's more beautiful, more cleaner look, right? Rather than being heavy on a lot of things, it's super clean, quick, and looks much better. Like a proper landing page with 2-3 things that just like, puts the point across. So again, if you are having a website which is not super great, please go ahead and start redesigning it. Finally, we got a beautiful navbar, right? Again, it looks great. The only thing is you have to keep going one by one on each section, right? One thing I want to do is make this centered and floating with rounded corners. I saw something similar somewhere, and I'm just going to try to bring that back if I can. I just want a small navbar. I don't want the whole thing. It does not match the vibe of the website. I'm going for something cool here, right? This looks like super old, and then again, we can then just go ahead and start asking to link all these stuff together. Let's just see if it is. It's still rendering, and you can see like it is rendering when this bubble keeps dropping out. Perfect. This is much more beautiful, right? Again, like centered, pretty cool, and everything else. The only thing that I'm going to ask it to do is across, someone clicks it, that's it. Across all the book of call down section, as soon as you click it, you should just go down to that particular section. That's it. That's the goal. And then I'll link my YouTube there. Again, just like came out really, really wow. And it will start linking that. But again, it came out really well. Navbar is done. I've just asked it to book a call now with all the things. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video till now, please like, share, and subscribe. It will really, really help me out a lot. If you have any video recommendation that I should build with Lovable, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.